there for security. We barely have 2 lampposts, street lights on our street. It's all lit. That's my nose, bitch. Sorry. Our power went out on Tuesday night into Wednesday. If we can't even support Westchester Road for power, why are we adding more to the grid?
Are we done yet? Okay.
Developer,
do you want to say anything? I think we've heard enough. Go ahead.
In regard to some of the comments, we'll redo ACA's comments in regard to the mining which you talked about. Mike, can you just repeat that again? The pointer.
As I mentioned earlier, we did identify an area on the property that is within 100 feet of the mine. There's 5 residential lots at this corner of the property, along with the entrance roadway into the plan that will be mine grouted. It sounds like there's things going on with Sleepy Hollow Road that was certainly beyond our scope of work here, but certainly if the township would like to hire us to do borings on Sleepy Hollow Road, we can identify where the mine is and if it needs to be grouted to prevent future subsidence from occurring. I don't think that was the developer's responsibility as part of this.
I think that Sleepy Hollow Road, you're making improvements. So anywhere Sleepy Hollow Road is less than 100 feet, it will need to be grouted. So not only is the entrance road you're planning to be grouted, but a portion of Sleepy Hollow Road also.
Okay.
I mean,
if that's the township's stance.
That's the way it has to be.
Okay. Anywhere where Sleepy Hollow Road is being improved, if it's within 100 feet of the mine, it'll be grouted as well. So we would have to look at the topographic information in this area of the site and determine how many mine grout holes.
It's going to be the full length of those between those 2 connections. That's because you don't get to 100 feet of cover until you get up to the second entrance.
Yeah, agreed.
Do a revised geotech report. It's all in the report.
Just one point of clarification.
You are, sir?
I'm sorry, Josh Hato with Worcester, the traffic engineer. Point of clarification about the traffic impact study. I was asked a question at the first Planning Commission meeting, I believe it was in March, and perhaps did not answer clearly. I was asked the question: was consideration given, or were you aware of? I think it said that the study contemplates the Bethel Park School in your background traffic. I am fully aware of that school. It was discussed when we scoped the traffic study with the township's engineering consultant. We were given a study that was performed by that school by another consultant, and it was township engineers' feeling and ours as well that because it was a Bethel Park School and that study wasn't showing traffic coming through our study area, at least not a significant number, we were said not to include that traffic in our background. So it wasn't a lack of awareness of the development. It was contemplated, discussed, and ultimately decided not to include that traffic.
There was a question about the grading and the necessary, who's going to be reviewing the grading and any. So there was a question in regard to the grading and about what's going to happen, who's going to be reviewing the grading plan, and the who will be responsible to be going out to the site to do inspections. Bernie, do you just kind of want to talk about the MPDES review and the Allegheny County Conservation's review on the sites?
Yeah, those are things that are, as Dan had mentioned, one of the jurisdictions that's going to be reviewing the permitting for the erosion control. We'll have to get what's called a National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit, NPDES permit, and that's what we'll be looking at the grading and also making sure that erosion and sedimentation control is managed. And all of that information congruent with a more detailed stormwater management plan will be part of the next phase, if we go into final. I think one of the questions that I wasn't exactly sure of was Jim Converse's question. Was it?
On the back, I talked to Bonnie's property, they're private, and I was wondering why they're private.
Yeah, they are listed as private currently right now.
Isn't that strange? I mean, how, if something goes wrong, we have to go sue each one of those people instead of working with the township? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, that's certainly something we could talk to the township about and whether or not they want to, be involved in that. But
It's, because we have, because of the Amarissa homes right now, it's systems, people feel to swell in, and they're all over their property. I mean, they almost destroy their property.
gotcha.
And the question is, we provide in the rear yards, the storm lining through these sections, they're all within the plan. They show a 10-foot private storm easement. It's just allowing that to go in and do work if cleanup needs to be done by the homeowners association within the plan. So that's not something. If the township would like to be able to make that public for them to maintain, we'll be glad to give it make it a public easement for the township.
Hey, Eric, we can keep them going there. Go ahead.
I just have one more question. Mary Amoroso, Stoltz Road. Did your study take into account children walking their horses down Sleepy Hollow Road? We don't do fox hunts here. We just go on trail rides. I don't think they took any of that into consideration. I have 10 ponies myself. Julie Gunn has approximately 15 at her place. As you go down the road, there's more and more horses. I know it's time. We're all tired, but did you take that into consideration?
Can I just please show the board this ACA engineering, which was somehow beyond the scope, but if you could just read, I don't have an extra copy, but if you could just read that, why are we avoiding this?
That's in the record. Is it not?
Last year's, it's ACA, well, that's just that one.
Okay, this December
We
22nd.
just heard that it's beyond the scope. It's
Well, no,
right there in
no,
this report.
Mr. Dodgeroth said that the entire road from
Between the two entrances to the plant are all figured out.
it's all
In addition to the ponds.
yes, that's all required. That's all required.
They weren't gonna do it until they brought it up.
Part of the plan. This is part of the plan.
Part of the submitted plan? What a risk.
Just a reminder, everybody, we're in the preliminary stage.
Right.
Hi, my name's Ted Sobek. I've been in a township resident since 1977. I'm a mining and geological engineer. I worked for 45 years as a professional mining engineer for John Boyd Company, which is a world-renowned mining company. I do have some geotech questions. You can't use a rule of thumb, 50 feet from the DEP, or double it to 100 feet. There's actually physical calculations that you can do with mine voids and the strata above the mine void that makes a precise calculation, not to say we're going to grout from 100 feet and below. I recommend that those calculations be performed. Secondly, in the report, they talk about pyritic conditions, redstone and Waynesburg seam horizons that have to be removed if they're in close proximity to the foundations of the homes. That has not been addressed. Jason briefly talked about potential acidic conditions and how that will affect when moisture intersects with these seams and piling. So I would address those questions too that must be answered. Thank you.
I would just like to make a statement. I talked to Mark Krasinski at the Bethel Park Elementary Center. He told me they had not done any traffic studies yet, but he estimated 50 to 60 buses coming out of there. Imagine 50 to 60 buses plus parents, teachers, deliveries, workers, all coming, that circle, they're all coming around. Stoltz, the King School, through the school to Berryman, Stoltz to King School. Okay, there's going to have to be traffic mitigation, either at 88, at Stoltz. Who's going to pay for the traffic mitigation? Okay, there's no walkways on Stoltz Road. There's no walkway across that bridge on Stoltz Road. It's a very unsafe road. PennDOT needs to be brought into the discussion. PennDOT needs to widen that road because everybody's going to be coming out on Stoltz. And Stoltz will eventually look like King School now. King School has holes all through it from the construction of that elementary school. So who's going to pay? Is PennDOT on board for that, to help with that? Has anybody talked to the state? My comments for now. Thank you.
Okay.
So I have a question now. So that storm drain is going to be behind my house. When is this all going to happen? So the whole land's going to be cleared. When are the storm drains going to go in? And who's going to protect me now? Now it's an HOA. Now it's private. Is the township not responsible anymore for this 167 Act? I mean, how are you going to protect me from being, when they clear those leaks, that rain, is it like we had rain last week, can you imagine that? I'm going to be completely flooded by this development. I just don't understand how you can contain that.
Okay. That's it. Make it fast.
Hello, Virginia Rapine, 1048 Old Post Road. I don't understand what's going on with this bridge, because originally I went to all these meetings. It was 20, then it was 24, and tonight, or 22, now tonight it's 24. Is there an ordinance that says what the weight is on this bridge? And can you tell me what it is? I don't understand how they can just, you need to explain this to me, how you can just keep changing this bridge and there's nothing needs to be done to it. And then if it does break down, I was looking at all the old minutes to the meetings. We've done a lot of work to get that bridge just in the repair that it is in. So can you tell me what's the weight restriction on that bridge? Because it sounds like they're going to put a heck of a lot of weight on there. And nobody's saying anything. Can somebody give me an answer? Is there an answer? Because look, we own the bridge, the Township.
There is no weight restriction on the bridge. The bridge is actually a culvert. It's a twin culvert. I don't have the plans in front of me right now, but it was construction approximately 1980s, middle of 1980s. I'm sorry.
Microphone.
The bridge is actually a twin culvert. It was constructed as a part of another development, from my understanding of the history of it. It was put in when there was another development that occurred in the area, that the township was able to get that developer to install a new twin culvert at that location. It has no weight restrictions on it. I've inspected the culvert. The culvert is in good condition. The culvert can be lengthened. The developer has agreed to lengthen the culvert as necessary to reach the required minimum width of the road.
And what about the sidewalks and the paths for the horses and the 6 to 7 businesses that exist in that area that need that access and the right of way?
I have nothing in the subdivision.
Well, who wants to answer that?
There's nothing in the township requirements that requires the development to bring the road up to any condition beyond the limit of their property line. I don't think that was adequately conveyed to people tonight. Whatever the developer's proposing is really, he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing it because he wants to make a nice entrance to his plan. So he's going to widen the road. He's going to open up the culvert and make it wider so that people can get back to the lots.
Well, what
That's
about,
not a township requirement. I just want to make sure everybody's clear of that. In front of his property, I reviewed the plans. He's putting in sidewalks. He's widening the road to construct township standards. And that's what he's required to do by our ordinance, by the state law. So I can't speak outside of that. I know what everybody wants. I know what everybody said tonight, and I respect that. I really do.
I just want to know what the law is with that bridge, and what is the law on the bridge on Stolz? Because I went down and looked at it, and it's all cracking, the cement on the sides. Like, where, there's no weight restrictions, there's no laws, there's no ordinances, there's nothing for these bridges?
There's no weight restriction. The original question was, is there a weight restriction on the Sleepy Hollow Road culvert? And the answer is no.
Well, what about Stolz?
I'm not aware of Stolz. It's a state road. State would be monitoring that. If it's less than a certain distance, they'd probably just consider it a culvert. They didn't want to consider it a bridge. I'm not sure if it's on their plan for reconstruction or what we can do, but we can check into that.
It is not. I call it.
She called, it is not. And that's going to be, if that goes, where do all these cars go? Where does all this construction go? Where does all these trucks go? I mean, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. And one thing about the traffic study, did you put the horses in the traffic study? Because they're supposed to be as vehicles. They go at a different rate. They go at a different speed. There's children on the horses. Where is that in the study? Thank you very much for your time.
As you said, horses are treated just like bicycles, pedestrians. If there were any observed when we did our counts, they would have been included in the study.
Okay, we're going to do an action on the preliminary approval, Majestic Woods subdivision, Sleepy Hollow Road. A motion is needed to approve, table, reject granting preliminary approval to the project identified as the Majestic Woods subdivision to be located on Sleepy Hollow Road as proposed by the developer, Majestic Woods LP, and if approving, with the following contingencies. Number 1, the developer must submit final subdivision and construction plans in accordance with the South Park Township subdivision and land development ordinance. 2, the developer must provide a final detailed geotechnical design for the development to address geotechnical comments in Gateway Engineers letter dated April 24th of 2024. A, the developer must agree to full-time inspection of the grading activities by a geotechnological engineer of records office. B, the developer must provide certification when completed of all grading to develop roads and lots in accordance with the final geotechnical report as prepared by geotechnical engineer of record. 3, the developer must take the improvements to Sleepy Hollow Road as depicted on the Victor Wenzel plan entitled Overall Preliminary Plan Sheet 200 with the revised date of April 30th, 2024. This includes, but is not limited to, the following. A, on-site improvement on the development frontage to reconstruct the road to township standards from the eastern side of the development, Curtis Drive, to the eastern line of the Nikoloff property. B, off-site improvement to reconstruct the road to the township paving thickness standards to a width of at least 24 feet for another 500 feet to the west. C, off-site improvement to widen to 24 feet and overlay the remaining portion of the road to the intersection of Stoltz Road within 2 inches of wearing course. D, off-site improvement to modify the culverts under Sleepy Hollow Road is necessary to allow for a 24-foot cartway to extend to Stoltz Road. 4, the developer is to obtain planning module approval for sewage facilities. 5, the developer must obtain an NPDES permit for the development. 6, the developer will delay timbering activities until the grading permit is issued and erosion and sedimentation controls are implemented. 7, the developer must obtain township approval for 5 hydrant locations. 8, the developer must submit the HOA documents for review by the township solicitor. 9, a fully executed developer's agreement and the posting of financial security for improvements to develop the site, including the bonding of conditions of existing culverts under Sleepy Hollow Road must be submitted to the township prior to the onset of construction activities.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Shame on you.
Can't wait till election time.
Yeah, I can't either. Okay.
Water on your dad.
23, adjournment. A motion is needed to adjourn the meeting.